where kids could write in the name of their fallen hero. In black marker, the girl had simply written, "My daddy."
And that program, we're about to the foundation, the Gary Sinise Foundation. That was a organization that was started, and every year I would go back and play a concert for the kids and be a part of the event. American Airlines supplies all the transportation to get all the kids from all over the country to the event. And a couple of years ago, we folded that particular thing into the Gary Sinise Foundation as a program. And we moved the event from Dallas, where it had been for 9 years, to Disney World. And so we take over 1,000 kids to Disney World, along with 400 or 500 surviving parent or guardian or who's ever with the kids, and we give them a lot of joy right before Christmas time at the happiest place on earth. It's extraordinary, and my band has played concerts for the last 13 years, something like that.
Awesome. Going back to these hospital visits. Back to the book. After a bomb exploded in Iraq in July of 2003, Marine Staff Sergeant Mark Gronke, am I saying that right? Lost an eye, hand, fingers, thumb, and right leg. I met Mark on my first visit to the National Naval Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland, on September 11, 2003, where he was recovering. He was the first wounded service member I visited on the first of many trips over the years to the D.C. military hospitals. He wanted to talk about Lieutenant Dan. And we shared a few stories, and I sat with him for a while before I went on to the next room. That afternoon, I was at Walter Reed for the first time. I visited with so many wounded heroes that day, including many of the first triple amputees I would meet in the coming years. Just 21 years old U.S. Army Specialist Hilario Bermanis was serving with the 82nd Airborne Division in Baghdad. On June 10th, just 10 days before I would be in Baghdad myself, Specialist Bermanis and a fellow soldier came under attack while guarding a weapons turn-in point. A rocket-propelled grenade killed his friend and took both Bermanis' legs and his left hand. As Bermanis lay in his bed, his father stood by his side and told me what had happened and how Hilario was from one of the tiny islands in the Federated States of Micronesia. 3 years earlier, wanting to be an American soldier, he had gone to Guam to sign up for the U.S. Army. The week after my visit, in a ceremony at Walter Reed on September 17, 2003, Bermanis was awarded U.S. citizenship. I'll always remember that first visit, meeting Specialist Bermanis and so many others, seeing this young man in a hospital bed missing 3 out of 4 limbs. It made a lasting impression on me. And at one point, some of your friends and some of the partners from Operation International Children, you weren't able to go to Iraq, so they went over, they delivered supplies, and they stopped at Launchstool in Germany on the way back. And going back to the book here, there they met a young soldier named Brendan Morocco, just 22 years old, the first United States service member ever to survive after losing all 4 limbs in an IED explosion. The blast happened during the early hours of Easter Sunday, while Brendan was returning from a night mission in the deserts of Iraq. He was in bad shape. In addition to losing both arms and both legs, Brendan's nose, left eye socket, and facial bones were broken. He'd lost 8 teeth from the blast and had taken shrapnel in his left eye and face. His face and neck had been burned, his left carotid artery severed, and his left eardrum pierced. Usually a soldier this severely wounded would die, but Army medics had been making remarkable strides in treating battlefield wounds. And you go into some details here, but a guy named Sal Casano. Am I saying that right?
Casano.
He's the commissioner of the New York Fire Department, and they wanted to raise money to build Brendan Morocco, a specially adapted smart technology home in Staten Island. They asked if you would help, raise funds. Going back to the book, as we were planning a fundraising concert for Brendan to be held in Staten Island in August of 2010, I received another call on March 26th, 2010. While leading a squad of Marines on a security patrol in Afghanistan, Corporal Todd Nicely, 26, had stepped on an IED buried at the foot of a bridge. His fellow Marines quickly wrapped tourniquets around his wounds and administered morphine. A rescue helicopter arrived within 6 minutes. He became the second U.S. service member to survive injuries as a quadruple amputee. I met Todd in the hospital, then simply said to the Tunnel to Towers guys, which are the guys that are running this charity, he needs a house too, let's do another concert. Even before we played Brendan's concert, we received a third call on May 24th, 2010. Sergeant John Peck had just finished sweeping a compound with a metal detector checking for bombs when he stepped on an IED. He became America's third surviving quadruple amputee. We decided to raise funds to help build homes for all 3 quadruple amputees. Back before my foundation was created, it was no simple matter to help raise about $500,000 for each home project. It still isn't a simple matter today, but I wanted to do everything I could do to help. In time, we built homes for all 3 quadruple amputees, and this new initiative steamrolled from there. The good news was that thanks to new sophisticated life-saving techniques on the battlefield, more soldiers started surviving these horrific injuries. The bad news was that after Brendan, Todd, and John, more soldiers were wounded similarly. Staff Sergeant Travis Mills was our 4th quadruple amputee, a highly capable and resilient squad leader. He later joked that his injury in Afghanistan was only a bad case of the Mondays. Like so many of the wounded service members I've met, Travis is one of my heroes. And we remain close friends to this day. And Travis was on this podcast, number 90. If you want to realize what a hero sounds like, go listen to that. Navy Petty Officer Taylor Morris, a member of an explosive ordnance disposal team, became our nation's 5th surviving quadruple amputee from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. Immediately after the blast that took his 4 limbs, Taylor lay on the Afghan soil, fully conscious, bleeding to death. But before medics attended him, Taylor ordered them to wait and make sure the ground surrounding him was clear of IEDs. He didn't want any other service members getting wounded. Where do they find such men? Yeah, that's I haven't spent a decent amount of time with Travis. Yeah. If that guy's not a hero, then I have no idea who is.
Well, he's an amazing guy, and he's doing something really positive with his circumstance, and he's helping fellow veterans with his own foundation, Travis Mills Foundation. Obviously, he wrote a book. There was a movie. Travis is an ambassador for my foundation, so he'll do things from time to time to help us do more. And I've met just extraordinary people. We've done over 60 or 70 of these houses now for very, very badly wounded folks, in all branches of the service. And it's been a privilege because I've learned quite a bit from a number of them, and have many, many friends who, are in the wounded community. As I said, I've been involved with the DAV for many, many years, and so I have many wounded pals from a lot of different wars, and they give me a lot of inspiration, a lot of motivation to keep doing more.
You go on here. Another busy year was planned for 2010, 35 concerts and additional events in support of our troops. They were still out there fighting. And I kept doing so much because it needed to be done. But I was tired. I was wondering how long I could keep up this pace. Would I be able to continue like this, or would I burn out? Yet I envisioned a future doing still more, and I wanted to figure out a way to ramp up, not pull back my work, since I could see the positive efforts we were having. The question was how. I began to consider consolidating my mission under one umbrella, continuing to work while focusing my priorities in the most effective way possible. Having teamed up with many organizations and efforts in the military support space, I learned a great deal about many different areas of need. I could strategically harness the incredible power of the many volunteers who worked alongside me over the years and could help serve them, our military veterans, and first responder communities more effectively too. I could still point donors in a good direction and encourage generosity of the American people to support quality projects I was involved in, but I could do it more consistently under this one umbrella. Thinking through all of that, the solution became clear: my own foundation. And you call it out here. I'd been involved in so many different types of initiatives at this point, and even though I was consolidating efforts, I still wanted to keep the mission statement broad, reflecting the support work I'd done over the years, and so we could always adapt to changing needs of our veterans. We came up with this mission statement. At the Gary Sinise Foundation, we serve our nation by honoring our defenders, veterans, first responders, their families, and those in need. We do this by creating and supporting unique programs designed to entertain, educate, inspire, strengthen, and build communities. Yeah, you got to a point where you had to kind of consolidate your efforts.
Yeah, I in the back of the book there's a list of maybe 30 different charities that I was supporting, and in various ways. I wanted to do a lot for as many veterans as possible, so I chose to do that initially by not only doing USO tours but supporting nonprofit organizations that were really doing a good job in the military support space. So I would do PSAs for them. I would fundraise for them. I would lend my name. I'd be on their honorary advisory boards. I would blah blah blah. It went on and on and on. And then I was like, right before I started the foundation, I launched the foundation, Gary Sinise Foundation, in 2011. So the chapter in the book called Flurry of Action kind of talks about 2009, 2010, the 2 years leading up to the founding of the foundation, because those years I was just ramping more. And all the while I was shooting a television series, by the way, at the same time. So I was never home. I was shooting the show or gone on the weekends, doing something, helping some organization out. And I thought, this is, I need to figure out some other way to do this. And having been involved with so many military charities over the years and had established a good reputation within the support space, people knew I was there for real, and I kept coming back, and it wasn't something I did once, and I was ongoing. It was part of my life. So I thought, let's capitalize on that in some way, and create an organization that can, act as a reliable resource for people who want to support our veterans and military community. And that's why I named it the Gary Sinise Foundation. I mean, people knew who I was at that point. They knew I was in this for good. I could have called it the Help the Troops Foundation or something like that, but I decided to put my name on it because I had, I'd taken action, and people were supporting that. So I thought, well, the whole purpose of having a foundation is to raise money so that you can do more. And I wanted to raise a lot of money to do a lot more. And that's what we're doing.
Well, just like any brand, when you know the brand and you know its quality, because let's face it, I mean, the charitable organizations, there's good ones and there's bad ones. And so if you have a good reputation inside of a brand that people know that you're doing the right thing, then why not, like you said, capitalize on that and make it obvious?
Yeah, because I made a decision that this isn't something I'm going to stop doing. I'm going to keep doing it. So let's figure out the best way to do it in the most effective way.